Okay. So, not, right?
No.
No. I'll wipe that off. Okay. So looking at Irina's skin, I appreciate you slouching for me. Okay. Does anybody want to take a crack at what you say in her skin tone being? Is she more olive? Is she more beige? Or is she more rose beige?
Olive.
She's definitely olive. Definitely olive. Meaning that she just has more yellow in her skin. The other day, a lot of women think that olive means dark. That it's a dark, like a swarthy complexion or Mediterranean complexion. But it's not. It just means containing more yellow. So you can have someone who's Japanese who's so light but still yellow. So again, you know, I have my very lightest, the lightest olive to what is called a medium coffee, so which would be a more ethnic shade, but still all yellow based. So now, trying to put Irina into the right intensity of olive. Do you think she's, and I know you guys are just looking at this, some of you for the first time, so you know, so it's you're just kind of guessing, but looking at her, do you consider her a light, a fair, or a medium?
Fair.
She's fair. Okay, she's fair, just so you'll know. Medium olive would definitely be a little darker. One shade. So again, I'm just going to use my moisturizer, and we're going to do the same thing. I'm using a fluid, but it's a very emollient moisturizer. It's good to use an emollient. Of course, it has a lot to do with the skin type too. I mean, if somebody has very dry skin, naturally you're going to want to use more of an emollient. But even for an oily skin, you don't want to use a moisturizer that's just going to sink in and go away, because we need that in order to get this makeup to go on nice and thin. Okay. Now before I created the primer, I would completely depend on a very emollient moisturizer to spread my makeup. Now, since the primer, it's changed everything. It really has. It's only the way, like again, that it's used differently in that you don't let it dry. So some primers dry faster than others, but with my primer, the whole idea was that it stayed wet for a long time, longer. So, okay. All right, so I'm just going to go straight to the primer, perfecting primer.
About how much primer do you use?
Well, the one that I have now is an airless pump, so one pump. So it's a lot easier to measure now. Yeah. I actually saw one in the case. You definitely have one. Yeah. Okay, look up for me, sweetheart.
And eyelids as well, right?
Your what?
You put on eyelids everywhere, right?
Not the eyelids, just under. Okay, so just look up. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so we know that she is a fair olive. And see, that's, the more you do it, obviously, the easier it gets, and the quicker you're going to be able to skin tone match. It's really a simple thing once you get the hang of it. Okay, so I'm squeezing out, again, about the size of a pea. I always tell my clients, don't squeeze out too much because you can't put it back. So, that's all. Just easy. Small little circle. Turn your little face this way. It should be just a perfect blend. Does somebody want to come up and give it a try? Why don't you come up, Julie? I want you to feel it. I just want you to feel how it should feel when it goes on. So just blend that with one finger. I'm going to move out of your way.
I did.
You know me.
It's just so silky.
So it goes on very, very silky and easy. That's it, yeah. So I wanted you to feel.
Yeah.
And when I'm teaching someone, I always have them just do it on one side, just so they can feel how it should feel when it goes on. Okay.
Can you use your primer on the oily skin?
Yes. Irina wanted to know if we could use the primer on oily skin. Absolutely. Okay, you can relax those lips. I'm going to put a little bit on there. I want you to look up for me. Just with your head, just your eyes. Yeah. So just to show you what I was talking about with the, whoopsie, with the, using a brush. Okay. So I'm just going to use a small concealing brush, pick up just a teeny little bit, and that will really help me to get all the way up under the eye. Which is really important because I am going to end up, I can line her eye with eyeshadow and the shadow will adhere to the makeup that's under her eye. So a lot of times that's what I'll do. I'll just line with shadow and it works great. Okay. Okay, and she's also just a little lighter here, so I'm just going to do a little blending. And I'm using it so lightly that it's just more like a tint is what it really is. Do you have any tanner on or anything like that? Mm-hmm. She's got some self-tanner on. Mm-hmm. Okay. Just a drop on the lids, just a little drop. So let me ask you, I'm very curious, when you girls, the ones who do makeup, do you have a hard time matching all skin tones when you're out and doing makeup? Do you ever have challenges like that?
I've had challenges, but I'll mix.
So you mix and blend too because you're good with color and you understand it.
Yeah, but you're right, it takes a while doing it to, figure out your mixes and what works.
Exactly,
with what.
exactly. Now, as far as blending, of course you can blend two shades together. I would say 99% of the time I don't have to do that. But if, let's say, you thought that she was an olive complexion and you put the fair olive on there and you went, it looks a little yellow. So then you might pick up what shade? You wouldn't pick up the rosy shade because that's the complete opposite. So you might go to beige, fair beige. And let's say you tried the fair beige, but that was just a little too pink. Well, she's probably an olive beige. So you could blend a little bit of each one and get something smack in the middle. If, let's say you, again, go back, tried the fair olive and it was too yellow, and you tried the beige, the fair beige, and it was okay, but it was still a little light. Well, then you could take the fair olive and the medium beige. So you don't have to necessarily go from fair to fair, you can go fair to medium, and so you can kind of switch it around. So the beauty of it is that you can blend to get your perfect shade. Okay.